The good art friends.
Hello and welcome to the Good Art Friends, where good friends discuss good art. Jonathan, my good friend, how are you doing on this fine December evening?
I'm great. And let me add on to this as we're going to get into in this episode. I didn't realize how stressed out I was until the holiday break started.
I mean, I realized how stressed out you are. Your home has exploded in like 12 different ways, which, though, to be fair, is your own doing, because I think on the last one, you're like, my home is fine now, it's fixed, and it was not. So that's on you.
I tempted the wrath from the thing from high above. I forget how Toby says it. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. But now, we can rest a little, and we can talk about good art. In fact, the goodest art, because it is our second annual Garts, the Good Art Awards, where we discuss our favorite art from the year. Not necessarily saying it's the best art, and also not necessarily saying that we've engaged with every piece of art from the year. Particularly for me, I don't know how you felt, but when I was looking at movies, I was like, oh, this is probably going to change in about 6 months when I finally get around to all those things. Yeah. But so far, the goodest art that we have engaged with in 2025 in movies, shows, album, game, book, then like a miscellaneous. We even have some guest submissions as well. Yeah. So, and do you have the guest submissions handy? Because I don't have that document.
I will. I'm going to pull them up right now.
Okay, I will filibuster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but what category do you want to start with?
You made the agenda, and I would like to stick with the agenda. So let's go ahead and start with music.
Okay, this one. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have a lot more to say about this one. So you know what? You just ISO.
All right.
And then I'll do my 30 seconds after.
Yeah. So my top album of the year actually did not end up being my top artist of the year according to Spotify. Top album for sure. Never Enough by Turnstile. I don't think I listened to anything this year that really changed my life, but I listened to a lot of things that were transformative for me. And that album, Never Enough by Turnstile, really, really high up there. Look Out for Me, one of my favorite tracks on the album. They had two really huge singles that went off, being I Care, and of course the title track Never Enough.
That's the Greatest Showman song, I assume, right?
Yeah, of course. and Seeing Stars, like all of those tracks were amazing. I love that. The other album I have a star next to is from my top artist of the year, I Felt Better by Dinosaur Pileup.
I was hoping you would have a dinosaur-related song in there, maybe even a practical dinosaur. But yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah. But yeah, I waited 6 years for Dinosaur Pileup to put out a new album. They have toured the States this year. They were on the same tour with Yellow Card, and they were going to be at Walnut Creek here in Raleigh, but they weren't going to join the tour until like a month later.
Oh, right.
And now they're touring the U.S. again early next year, and they're not coming to North Carolina, and I'm upset about it. But I Felt Better, tremendous album. I really loved the back half of the album because it involves the song Sunflower, which I think I shared with you. Before a butterfly learns to fly, it must learn to change, which is a great line in there. And then Quasimodo Melonheart, great track in there. Just a really great album. Honorable mentions for me, Toy by Dear Seattle, which came out in January. Straight Line Was a Lie by The Beths, which includes the great song Metal. And then These Things Happen by Saturdays at Your Place, which I mentioned seeing them live this year. and Big Symmetry by Pet Cemetery are my honorable mentions in music.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't listen to a lot of 2025 albums this year. The two that stand out are the Boy Genius kind of split off solo ones. Forever's a Feeling by Lucy Dacus, that the song Bullseye with Holzier is fantastic. But my favorite one, I'm going to give it to my Gart to Julian Baker and Torres, Send a Prayer My Way. I love her kind of tinkering with different genres and like country-esque songs. And always Baker just has these just kind of heart-wrenching lyrics, and the collaboration with Torres just ratchets it up a bit. So that's what I had for mine.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Then let's see. The next category would be movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to go first?
Sure. So I have a couple guest submissions first. So my kids, even Indy, wanted me to talk about Zootopia 2. Have you seen that, by the way?
I haven't. It's on the list.
It was a wait. I mean, it shouldn't be surprising because Zootopia 1 is really quite fantastic. The world building in it is some of my favorite world building of any movies in the last like 10, 15 years or so. I just love the different kind of like biomes for each, and Zootopia 2 was kind of just as good. And I think they're spot on. It's amusing. It has that kind of like Maltese Falcon-esque noir kind of detective story to it, and it was a wonderful movie. So that was their guest submission. Also, friend of the show Tyler, who was on our 2025 draft last year and will be in our 2026 draft, he gave me he's big into movies. He gave me a bunch of submissions there. Though actually, first, let me preface this whole, as I mentioned, this is the category where I feel like will probably change the most because I have not seen, I know I'm going to love the new Knives Out. I have not seen One Battle After Another. I love Shakespeare stories. I have not seen Hamnet. I have not seen Sinners as well, which I think would be in there. And Sinners was one of the ones on his list, along with F1. He really liked the new Superman movie. I did see that. I wouldn't necessarily put it in like a Gart for me, but he also mentioned Good Fortune. And then he mentioned a movie that is probably my runner-up and that I actually saw with you, which was The Ballad of Wallis Island.
Yeah.
I thought that was just going back to our music conversation. I like these big, giant orchestral songs, these 10 pieces, but then sometimes you just want like a really tight song, like 2.5 minutes, just like one person and a guitar or something. And that's what that movie was. There's only like 4 or 5 characters, really. It's a really simple story. There's not really any B plots, and it was just really well done. So that's my number 2. But my number 1, I'm a sucker for Wes Anderson films, and the Phoenician Scheme to me, I thought was fantastic. I've enjoyed the last few before this, have been a little bit more experimental, but this one was a little bit more of that kind of more standard plot that I think made it a little bit more accessible. And Benicio del Toro was fantastic. All the performances, if you're up for like that kind of deadpan delivery, were fantastic. And that kind of same quintessential cinematography from Wes Anderson. So the Phoenician Scheme gets my Garts. What about you?
You have to understand when you were talking about The Ballad of Wallis Island. I think that's the only movie that I watched multiple times this year.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I watched it twice within like a 1 month span, exactly 1 month apart, because you and I saw it on May 30th, and then I watched it again with my family on June 30th. I'm looking at my letterbox, which is how I was able to keep track. And like with you talking about the music in there, my second review, because I didn't actually put a review or star rating for it. I quoted the lyrics from the song in the outro, which I forget the name of the song that he was asked to do specifically. Or no, a different one. Either way, when the sky's full of stars, it seems impossible to think that they don't know who we are. When the trees are in bloom, it seems impossible to think they're not doing it for you. And it's so good.
Yeah.
I love it so much. Ballad of Wallis Island, definitely on my list. Relay, was a very enjoyable movie. It's one of those movies where, as I said when I talk about it, it only works once, but that one time it works really well.
What's that about? I'm not.
So that was the one with Riz Ahmed, who's playing like this this individual agent who is helping people who come across documents and are whistleblowers for large agencies. And of course,
interesting.
These large agencies don't want this information to get out, so they'll strong arm the people. So he's like a go-between, and the only way that he contacts the person that he is trying to help is through a relay system. So it's a touch type system. He types, and then an operator on the other end reads the message that's said, and they go through them. So like the person he's helping never hears his voice, because it's going through that. So it's a fun little thriller. I enjoyed it. But my top two this year, F1, loved that, saw that in IMAX. The thing about F1 is this, right? You can watch a good movie and you can watch a realistic movie. If you want to watch a good realistic movie, watch a documentary, right? F1 is wholly unrealistic, right? But that's part of the charm of the movie. Cars go fast. Brad Pitt is Maverick driver, and you just get to see like the F1 drivers having fun. The actual F1 drivers having fun. And it's a very silly movie, and it's a very fun movie. But top of the list, at the apex, the very first movie I saw this year when I became a member of the film circle of the local, I saw Flow. And that's a movie
you've been
that
telling me.
like,
I haven't yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is a movie that they make movies for. Just incredible, and made on a shoestring budget. Just it's so immersive, pun or not. It's just like being inside this huge water world, just within the nature, all of these animals. Like there's literally no human dialogue in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's incredible what you can do when you're working within that kind of confined space, and you're able to tell just a beautiful, vibrant story.
Oh, yeah, I forgot, because you had recommended that, and I meant to. It just kind of slipped through. Yeah, I'm watching that. Yeah, over break. Good call. Okay, I'm excited to see that. Okay. Did you have any guest submissions for a movie? I forget.
Yes. And I also have guest submissions for music also.
Okay, yeah.
So this is coming from my friends within the movie Discord. Chip Swelly, who just has a phenomenal Discord name. Talking about Snipe Hunter by Tyler Childers, who is somebody I definitely need to listen to some more of. This is on music. From Drewbert, their top 5, Something Beautiful by Miley Cyrus. Ego Death at the Bachelorette Party by Hayley Williams, who's going to be going on an individual tour very soon. Addison Rae's album, Stray Kids album, and Chanyeol's album. That was from music. And for movies, from the movie Discord. Weapons, which is a movie I didn't get to this year.
I want to know the horror level of Weapons, though. Yeah. Because you and I are notoriously, not
don't really
go too creepy. So I don't know if that crosses the line for us.
And then, of course, like Sinners, Ephus, which might get discussed on this podcast at some point. And One Battle After Another, which is a movie that I'm going to try to squeeze in next week.
Next week? Yeah. That sounds good. Okay. It's a good list. Show is next. This is the category that I think you said you were a little light on, right? Where'd you land with us? Yeah,
it's Abbott. It's the only serial television that I watch. I turn on my TV to watch things on YouTube so I can watch videos about public transportation. And I watch Abbott Elementary, and I watch sports. Like, that's what my TV's used for, and video games.
I mean, what other show had Kyle Schwarber hitting 4 home runs in an episode? Like that alone should get at the cart. Yeah. It's still wild that that's the episode that they picked to do the live recording for.
And some of the people who have submitted guest submissions were at that same game, not far from the cast.
That's fun. That is fun. Yeah, you did mention that. Yeah. For me, mine's going to be kind of chalk for this one by Camp. But I do want to shout out the studio. Seth Rogen's show on Apple TV is just immaculately made. And it's just playful without being distracting, like an episode about them doing. So for those unaware, it's a show about making shows, and Seth Rogen's character takes over this it's a show about making movies. Seth Rogen's character takes over this movie studio, and he is trying to balance the art and making money. And so like on the art side, there's like a great episode about them trying to do a one shot kind of scene there, and the whole show is filmed as that, so that's a cool layer. On the making money, there's one of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen is him trying to figure out a way to make they get the IP, the license for Kool-Aid, and trying to figure out how to make a artistic Kool-Aid movie. It's just it's impeccably made. The show that it's not over yet this season, so I can't choose it yet. And actually, we're going to watch the next episode right when we're done recording. But Pluribus so far, actually also Apple TV, has been incredible. Vince Gilligan, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. It's just creepy and thoughtful, and just every shot is perfectly constructed. That's been a fantastic show, but I want to see if they kind of stick the landing, because up until the last episode, Tim Robinson's Chair Company was on the list, but it just got too funky for me. That the finale was wild. I'm still processing. But my chalk pick is Andor. That to me is that is what IP can be and should be, not exclusively. I think there's always room for just a wonderful kind of popcorn show or popcorn movie. But I think the value of Star Wars or Marvel or any of these kind of things is that it can be this common mythology for the modern age, the sandbox that anybody can play in. And it allows for someone to pop in and using these common touch points to create a show like this that is incredibly depressingly prescient and thoughtful take on living surrounded by fascism. Just everything about it, the dialogue, the action, the themes, just everything was fantastic. They certainly stuck the landing on that. So Andor is my Gart for show.
Love it.
Yeah. All right. Video game. What do you got for video game?
Yeah. This is like the easy answer is Hades 2. Right. So
yeah, we haven't talked about since I knew you were going to play that, but we haven't chatted since. So yeah, tell me about Hades 2.
So commonly people think that Hades 2 is called Hades 2 because it's the second entry in the series, but I'm here to actually tell you it's called Hades 2 because there are 2 dogs that you can pet now.
Good one.
Really, really fun. Just the same kind of world building that you got from the original Hades, working within the Greek mythology realm, and being able to play with the Greek gods and their mythos and their personalities as we know them through recorded lore and history, but also building and giving them their own, their own kind of thing that exists within the universe. Gameplay is great, a bunch of different weapons. So for people who aren't familiar with Hades, it is a roguelite game. So you can upgrade things at your base in between runs. But each run is basically you leave from your base and you go room by room trying to fight enemies who get progressively more difficult. At the end of each section, there's 3 sections. There is a boss to fight. And then in the 4th section you fight through and you fight the final boss. And each run that you do progresses the story. So there's so much dialogue that's able to be found within it. The music's incredible. Darren Korb has never missed in his life. I have played, I think, every single Supergiant game that they've made. So going all the way back to Bastion, which is a game that I think I've actually bought 3 times now, because I bought it on Xbox 360 and then I got it on Steam. And then I got it on Switch because it's just a game that I love and I believe in so much. And the music's incredible. It's insane. So Hades 2, top of the list. That's right behind that. He Is Coming, which scratches such a very specific itch. It's a game where you create a weapon, like a fighting build for yourself. So you play like this night creature on like this top-down map that you can move like 1 grid square at a time across the map. And each step that you take progresses time. And when you get to the end of the day, you're going to fight or get to the end of a certain amount of time, you fight a boss. And it's just about like, what items have you picked up during this time? Have you been able to make something that's going to work? And it's just, randomly going around and finding things. And that just scratches the building itch of like, everything is different. You got to think on your feet. But then the most surprising game I played this year has been Ball Pit, right?
Oh, I've heard about this, but I don't know. So what is the actual gaming mechanism? What is the game? Because I've just heard people say it's wonderful, but I don't know what it is.
Are you familiar with Vampire Survivors?
I'm familiar with the show Survivors. I'm familiar conceptually with vampires, but not put together, no.
All right, so Vampire Survivors I really think it's the foundation of the genre that is called a bullet heaven. Because you have your bullet hell games where like everything's flying at you at the same time and you have to avoid everything. You don't actually have to really do much. You just move around, you have your weapons, and you affect the world around you.
Okay.
So Vampire Ball Pit is a combination of that and Brick Breaker, right?
Cool.
So you're just firing orbs up the screen as these enemies come down, and you fight them, and as you level up, then you can get different orbs that have different powers. You can combine the powers together. Each run takes like 15 minutes.
Okay.
It's perfect. I can't believe how good this game is.
Okay. That does sound cool. I might check that out. Nice. But Hades 2 was your pick?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. What is the difficulty? Like, I'm on the wrong side of 40. My reflexes are not what they used to be. Like, is it a hard game? Is it like Celeste-esque in that way?
No.
Or Silk Song, another game that I'm sure I know is wonderful, but it's just too hard for me.
I mean, it's one of those games that's really nice. It can be as difficult as you want it to be. Like, for me, I was able to consistently get to the final boss and get him down to about like 30% health. And after that, I'm like, you know what? That's good enough. I don't have anything else left to prove. And I turned on what they have is God mode. They had this in the first game. And so what it does is that it gives you a 20% damage reduction.
Cool.
And each time that you die, it increases by 2%.
Oh, I like that. And that's an area where games have improved a bit over the last decade or so. Is just all the different customizations with difficulty levels. And I think that's wonderful. I played Star Wars Outlaws. I don't think it's eligible because it came out last year, though it came out this year for the Switch. But one things I'll say, and that was an underrated game. It was released when it wasn't ready, and that all the reviews came out and all those kind of things. But once they got together, it was actually pretty strong gameplay and world building and all that. But they have really nice accessibility settings for that one that you can kind of tweak as you're going through based on your interest in the game and all those things. There's another one that I feel like my answer might change when I actually get to a lot of these games. I got to play Donkey Kong Bananza. Just I'm told that is wonderful, and I tend to love Nintendo's kind of approach to gameplay. There's a Zelda-esque game that I played the demo for called Spindle, where you're playing as like Death. That seems really creative and inventive. I think that's gonna be great. And then the two big ones that I know that I'll love, but they just haven't come to a system that I have yet, is the Clair Obscura and then Blueprints. So I'll play those. But my top two were really cozy games. This was a good year for cozy games for me, and just, I don't know, life being what life is. I find myself gravitating towards those more. Recently, I've been playing 2 Point Museum, which is... Oh, it's wonderful. So yeah. So you have all these different types of museums that you can build, be it a prehistory one, or I'm doing an aquarium now. You can do a zoo. You can do like a creepy supernatural one. And it's just all these little mechanisms as you get different exhibits and you decide how to decorate them, and you drop, gift shops and cafeterias and all these. And it's just very addicting and creative and silly at times. But my first pick, the cozy game, I'm not going to belabor this too much because we have a whole episode on it, but I just love Tiny Bookshop. I thought it was just utterly charming. It had a lot of the same kind of just addicting qualities of, say, a 2 Point Museum, in that you're trying to do a thing and sell books and, bargo up kind of things. But it also had some really kind of heartfelt stories alongside it. And actually new updates coming out as we speak that's like doubling the amount of books. And I loved that. And they'll bring us into the next category. But I loved that merging of, it's a fun video game, but you're also, I'm adding books to my story graphs based on what I'm selling in that shop. I thought that was a wonderful game. Loved it. Which brings us to books. So what do you have for this one?
I think my top book this year was The Paradox Hotel. Not something that came out this year. I'm not much of a new book reader because it's going to require me to either buy a book that I don't know about if I will like, or wait 2 months to read it from the library.
Yeah, when you pull it up and it's like, wait list, 54 weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah, any new book, that's the thing.
I just put a hold in for The House at the End of the Cerulean Sea, and I'm 47 deep.
I do. Clune is fantastic. He's a good writer.
Yeah, and that book is how old? Anyway, the point is, library great, waiting bad.
Yes.
So of me reading books that were available, The Paradox Hotel, recommended to me by friend of the program, Steven from Batting Around. Just delightful. I love near future kind of things, parallel universe kind of things. That's really my jam. I love to hang out in sci-fi. I love when people create a world that's just similar enough to the one that we live in.
Yep.
But is far enough displaced that, this could never happen, but it could happen, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the Paradox Hotel is set at the titular place. And what it is a place for people with more money than they really should have to stay before they embark on a trip to go to a different place in time. So
that's a good premise.
Right. So there's ports for them to go to, ancient Rome or to, whatever, things like that. And what happens is there start to be some temporal problems within the hotel, and the main character, January, is honestly one of my favorite main characters that I have ever read in a book in a long time. I love her personality. There is one exchange where everything's going wrong, and one of the people who is a guest at the hotel is like, oh, I think I can help. And he's like, well, I can help because I'm smart, right? And so she looks at him and she asks him what his plan is. and she hears the plan, and she basically responds back to him like, "That's your best idea. Do not talk to me for the rest of the day."
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a guest submission from Ashley, from my wife, Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And this one, she was talking to me all throughout reading it, and it sounded very gripping. LGBTQ love story set in, I think, like the 70s or something like that. And these kind of female astronauts as they're going through a program and just dealing with all the crap, and then kind of love and, time which it was difficult for them. It's she said it made her ugly cry in the best possible way. And I've heard from a few people that one's quite good.
A recommendation for her on the premise that she liked that she should read On a Sunbeam, which is a graphic novel.
Okay.
I can't remember who it's by. I'm going to see if I can bring it up right
we should
now.
Be able to get it from there.
But it's a book by Tilly Walden. It's a graphic novel about this crew that's on this spaceship, and they're all women. And so it's really interesting. A great story. Pretty hefty too for a graphic novel. But there's so much in there to discover. It was really good.
Yeah. And quick aside, there's going back to the, if you want some realistic, do a documentary. When you read stories about some of the like early female astronauts, it's just absurd. My favorite, this will be, only 80% accurate, but there's this actual story what happened. I know that the like NASA engineers, this like completely male dominant things, were trying to figure out like how many tampons to send up for like one woman who was going to be there, and it was like 102 or something, just because they had no sense. Okay. I will say I'm really looking forward to reading The Everlasting. Claire North is one of my favorite authors. She has a new book out. I think Slow Gods or something I haven't gotten to. But two stand out for 2025 releases. My runner-up, I think I've mentioned before, but Katabasis by R.F. Kuang. It's the best premise of any book. In this world where two postgraduate students studying magic in a world where you can kind of actually do magic, travel through the various circles of hell to retrieve the soul of their advisor so that they can get a good recommendation and a cushy job. And that one was really creative and fun and thoughtful and all that. But my favorite is V.E. Schwab's Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Garden. It's I think she describes it as toxic lesbian vampires, and it is this really neat kind of story, like the best vampire stories, that takes place over centuries and centuries, and really looks into just like what would the impact of being immortal have on our relationships with those that you love and with yourself. And it really kind of plays with the genre in some kind of fascinating ways. So I've loved everything I've read by Schwab, and she has actually is a cool like murder mystery coming out next year I'm excited for. But yeah, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Garden is mine. All right, Miscellaneous.
If one wants to support women's rights, we must also support women's wrongs.
Yes, 100%. Well put. Okay, Miscellaneous. I think you have a guest recommendation for this as well.
Yeah. Let's see. I have a guest submission also from Chip Swelly on books. He submitted Bad Company, Private Equity, and the Death of the American Dream. Which he added on, for a book about a topic so bleak, it did offer hope that maybe we can reclaim our world from private equity.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. That I don't know if I really want to read that. I really don't want to read that, but that's Yeah. That's good.
Miscellaneous, we did get from Delaware Smash, who also put Donkey Kong Bonanza as one of his submissions. Dennis Camp's Ultimates, which I think that you definitely agreed with.
Yeah, I can co-sign that. I've enjoyed really most, now, caveat on Marvel Unlimited, so I'm 3 months behind, but I've really enjoyed the Ultimates universe. They say it's coming to an end. I don't know if that's just one of the things that you say to drive up sales, but Dennis Camp in particular, his play with the Ultimates is in the Ultimate universe, be it this one or the previous one, is like their version of Avengers. And it's just really, the overarching plot lines are fantastic. And there's just a lot of just really fantastic, like one-shot bottle issues that are really inventive and play around with the stories in a great way. I feel like we probably should. I've heard similar things out of like DC's Absolute universe, Absolute Batman in particular, but I've not gotten to any of those, so I can't speak to them with too much other detail. Yeah, what's your miscellaneous?
My miscellaneous is that for the first time in the 15 years that I've been living here in Raleigh, I went to Art in Bloom at the North Carolina Museum of Art. The event was as advertised and even exceeded my expectations.
Can you describe it?
Yeah, so Art in Bloom is this annual spring show that they do at the Art Museum, where they invite local florists and artists to put together floral arrangements that complement some of the artworks that are on display. So, let's see, for example, one of the things that I remember most, Market Scene on a Key, right? I don't know if you remember that painting, but it's the one that's the very visceral market.
Yep.
Boar's heads, meats hanging, cheeses, fruits. And there was this big floral arrangement, and that actually won the award for best arrangement. But it was all of these flowers that were arranged in a way to mimic how everything was strung about in the artwork. So, you've got strands of flowers like on a vine, and all of these bold, vibrant colors that are spilling out outside of the contained space. We had, there's this giant red metal sculpture that's in the parking lot outside of the museum. There was an arrangement of bamboo shoots that were arranged in the same way as that. Somebody shaped a topiary the same way as this old African ibis made out of metal, like those kind of things. Just really inventive, really creative artwork, and just really in inventive ways to interpret artwork. One of my favorite things really in life and in art is just to see how people decide to interpret things. Like when a band covers a song and they do it in a different genre, how do they decide to do this? Or for us in our last episode, when we watched Frankenstein, how do you decide to interpret the story? You decide to give a large heart to the created monster, right? And you change the way that people portray Victor. Just like seeing the artist interpretations and having an opportunity to talk with the artists as well about their inspirations, what they've created, and why they chose to do things in that way was a really, really great experience.
Yeah, well put. Did you have any other guest submissions before we wrap up?
Let's see. I think that's about it from, It Me Tony. On music, he also suggested Military Gun and Pool Kids. Put in his favorite scene in a movie was the fight scene in Splitsville. And then he said favorite MMA fight of the year was Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval. And I'm just trying to think about what was my favorite sports moment this year.
Ooh. Well, I got that. There's an obvious, and that's my runner-up for miscellaneous if we're ready to land the plane. So my runner-up is, I think, maybe the greatest, you could argue the greatest sports feat of all time. Shohei Ohtani's Game 4 NLCS, 3 home runs at the bat, 10 strikeouts pitching. That's got to be the most impressive feat.
And he dunked the Brewers into the core of the earth.
Yes, an extra points for that. So that was my runner-up, but I will end on a more sentimental note. I will say just, recently I've been trying to wrap my head around and just better understand and accept like my autistic identity. And part of that is just my relationship with special interests and stuff, and just, not be apologetic for it and lean into it. So my miscellaneous is just being able to do this show with you and have something instead of just like my hyper focuses, for it to be channeled into like, oh, I can really have it is okay and it is good to have this thing that I can just kind of hyper focus on for a month and then get to talk about it with my good friend. So thank you for my miscellaneous submission.
Yeah, for me to bring this full circle, like going back to me realizing like exactly how stressed out I was. Like I learned it last night when I was at yoga, and I was like, oh wow, like everything's done. I can finally let go. And I felt so good. And while I was researching, getting ready for this, I was realizing like, I didn't really engage in a lot of media on my own this year outside of doing the show, which was always a highlight of every month. So happy to do this. Yeah,
thank you. Well said. And what are we doing next month then?
We are circling back to the top. We're drafting what we're looking forward to in 2026.
Yeah, I'm excited. A little bit apprehensive at revisiting our picks for last year, but we'll start with that because I think Tyler and Ellie are going to be reprising the roles and joining us. But yeah, we'll look back at our 2025 picks. We'll see if we can have a diplomatic way to crown a winner for that, and then we'll draft for 2026. But I enjoyed that last year, and I look forward to it for this year. So yeah, Jonathan, my good friend, thank you for talking about good art with me tonight.
I love it. Happy holidays, everybody.
The good art friend.